The outer human frontier station floated in the cold dark of space, far away from any busy trade route, far away from any safe zone humans trusted. Inside the metal halls, the lights flickered like they were afraid to stay alive, and the guards moved with nervous steps, as if something dangerous was waiting behind every shadow. Everyone whispered the same thing again and again, that a human prisoner was coming, a human who refused to break under alien rule. His name was Aaron, and he walked with chains on his hands but fire inside his eyes. The aliens hated that fire. Because humans were different. Humans were harder to control. They fought back even when hope was gone. The commander of the station, a tall creature with silver skin and cold eyes, stared at Aaron like he was a problem that needed an unusual solution. "Bring the beast," the commander ordered, his voice shaking the air around him. The guards froze. They looked frightened, like they wanted to run away instead of follow that order, but they obeyed. They walked into a dark storage room and dragged something out. Something heavy, something breathing slowly like a sleeping storm. They brought her out in front of Aaron, a figure covered in metal restraints from neck to feet, chains across her arms, chains around her waist, chains across her legs. Her head was low, hidden under a metal mask that glowed faintly, making her look less like a living being and more like a monster from a forgotten nightmare. Everyone called her a beast, a weapon, a thing that kills without thinking. But Aaron looked closer and saw her body trembling. Not with anger, but with fear. The guards shoved both of them into a small room and locked the heavy steel door behind them. "You will not survive the night," one of the aliens said with a cruel smile. "She kills anything she sees, even her own kind." The door slammed shut, the footsteps faded, and only silence remained. Deep and thick like a weight on the air, Aaron stood still, watching the chained creature slowly lift her head. For a moment he expected glowing eyes full of hate, but instead he saw something else. Something he never expected from a creature everyone feared. He saw fear, deep fear, the kind that comes from pain and loneliness. She backed away like she was expecting him to hurt her, like she had learned from everyone else that pain was normal. "It's all right," Aaron said gently, keeping his voice soft and steady. She flinched, confused by the tone. No one had ever spoken to her like that. No one had ever used a gentle voice. She breathed slowly, her chest rising and falling in small motions, like she was trying to understand what kind of human he was. The mask over her face clicked lightly as she tried to speak, but the device blocked her voice. Aaron looked around the room, found a loose piece of metal on the ground, and carefully used it to unlock the front latch of her mask. It fell off with a soft metallic sound, revealing her face for the first time. She was not a monster at all. She had soft, pale skin, faint glowing lines under her eyes, and a look so lost and scared that Aaron felt something twist inside his chest. Her lips trembled as she finally spoke her first word. Her voice was weak, shaking, almost like a child learning to talk. "Help." That one word changed everything for Aaron. She did not sound like a beast. She did not act like a monster. She acted like someone who had been hurt for years, someone who only wanted freedom. He stepped closer, but slowly, so he would not scare her. She pressed her back against the wall, shaking her head as if begging him not to come near. Aaron lowered himself to the ground, sitting instead of standing, showing he meant no harm. "I am not here to hurt you," he said. She stared at him with wide, glowing eyes, searching for any lie in his voice. For the first time, she saw something different from the aliens who chained her. She saw someone who did not want to break her. After a long silence, she whispered again, "They made me to kill, but I do not want to." Her voice cracked like she was confessing a terrible secret she kept hidden for years. Aaron felt a chill move through him. What kind of being did they give him? And why did they expect her to kill him? Something was wrong, something huge, something dangerous, and Aaron could feel it, not in his mind, but deep in his instincts. Why did they bring you to me? He asked quietly. She looked at her chains, the metal glowing with strange symbols. They want to break you, she whispered, and they want to break me. Then her eyes lifted to his. But something in me, something inside, reacts to you, before Iran could ask anything else. The station lights flickered violently. Alarms flashed red, and the walls shook as if something massive had arrived outside. The creature in front of him raised her head, fear suddenly turning into sharp alertness. They are coming, she whispered. And they will not let us live if we stay here. Iran stared at her, confused and tense, but she only said one more thing, her voice trembling yet stronger than before. Please, trust me. And for the first time, Iran realized the truth. He was not trapped with a beast. He was trapped with someone who might be the only one able to keep him alive. The red alarm lights kept flashing in the small room, painting the walls with a warning glow that felt like danger was already in the air. Iran stood up slowly, keeping his hands raised so the chained creature would not feel threatened. But her eyes were fixed on the ceiling as the metal above them trembled again. Dust falling like soft rain, something outside the station was attacking. Something strong enough to make the entire place shake, like it was made of paper. The girl in chains, the one the aliens called a beast, pulled herself up with difficulty, the heavy restraints making every small movement painful. Iran wanted to help her, but he hesitated, unsure if getting close might scare her again. Yet before he could decide, she spoke in a low voice. They will come for me first, then for you, she whispered. Her voice shaking as much as the walls around them. He stared at her, confused. Why me? Because you saw me without the mask, she answered. And they fear anyone who sees my real face. Iran felt a cold chill crawl up his spine. The alarms grew louder, echoing through the corridors like the screams of dying metal. He could hear running footsteps outside, aliens shouting in panic, weapons charging, orders clashing with fear. The girl's glowing lines along her neck brightened for a moment. Reacting to the chaos outside, she lowered her head and squeezed her eyes shut. As if she was fighting something inside her, Iran watched closely, noticing the chains heating up with faint orange light, like the metal was waking from sleep. What's happening to you? Iran asked cautiously. She took a shaky breath, her chest rising with pain. When danger gets close, the energy inside me rises, she whispered. But the chains are made to burn me if that happens. Iran clenched his fists. Anger rising inside him, they created her to suffer, to fight, to bleed for their experiments. And now they were coming back to destroy their own creation, because she chose not to kill him. A loud explosion rocked the hallway outside, sending a shockwave through the room. The lights blinked out for a moment, plunging them into darkness before emergency lights flickered on again. The girl stepped back, shaking violently as her chains began glowing brighter, pulsing with every beat of her heart. I can't hold it much longer, she whispered. The chain on my chest hurts me when I try to control my power. Iran looked at the restraints, noticing strange symbols carved into the metal, symbols that pulsed like living runes. He reached forward, slowly, giving her time to pull away if she felt scared. But she didn't move this time. She just stood there, breathing hard, trusting him in the middle of the chaos. Hold still, he said softly. Let me see if I can remove it. Her glowing eyes widened slightly as she nodded, a moment of fragile hope trembling inside her. He touched the chain at her waist first. Feeling the heat burning through it, the symbols reacted instantly, shining brighter as if warning him. But Iran ignored it, pushing his fingers under the locked joint. Trying to lift it, the chain burned his skin, sending pain shooting through his arm. He hissed sharply, but did not let go. You will injure yourself, she whispered urgently. I don't care, he replied. These chains hurt you far worse. With one final pull, the lock cracked open with a loud metallic snap. The glowing symbols flickered and went dark, and the chain fell to the ground with a heavy thud. The girl gasped softly, her body relaxing slightly as the pressure around her waist disappeared. She lifted her hand and touched the freed space, her fingers trembling. "It has been there since the day they made me," she murmured, her voice soft, almost unbelieving. Iran didn't know what to say, but the look on her face was enough. It told him that this small action meant more to her than anything she had ever experienced. Another explosion echoed through the station. Stronger than before, the door of their room rattled dangerously, the metal bending inward as something powerful struck it from the other side. The girl snapped her head toward the door. Fear mixing with instinct. "They are not alone," she said. "Something big is with them." Her voice changed, gaining a heavier tone as if she sensed something Iran could not. Her glowing lines brightened again, matching the tremble of the room. Iran could hear strange roars through the metal door. Not human, not alien, something far more primal. The station lights flickered again, sending shadows dancing across the walls like ghosts refusing to rest. The girl stepped in front of Iran without thinking, positioning herself between him and the door. Her instincts were clear. She wanted to protect him, not because she was commanded, but because something inside her chose to. Iran felt a strange mix of fear and awe. This chained girl, this supposed beast, was ready to fight for him even while half restrained. He reached for another chain, determined to free her before something broke through the door. But the girl stopped him with a trembling hand on his wrist. "Not yet," she whispered. "Once all chains are gone, I may lose control. But if we wait, you will die," Iran answered. Staring into her glowing eyes, she hesitated, torn between fear of herself and fear for him, before either of them could choose. The door split down the middle with a screeching metal scream. The girl inhaled sharply, eyes blazing with blue light. "Iran," she whispered, "stay behind me." And in that moment, as the door began to fall inward, Iran realized something chilling and powerful. She was not just a beast, not just a weapon. She was something far more dangerous, and she was about to unleash it for him. The hallway outside the broken door shook as the creature slammed against the wall. Stunned by the shockwave the girl had released, Iran stared at her in disbelief, watching the faint blue light under her skin pulse like living fire. Her freed arm trembled from the sudden burst of power, but her eyes stayed fixed on the darkness ahead, sharp and unblinking like a predator ready to strike. The air around her vibrated softly, like the hum of distant thunder trapped inside her body. Iran stepped closer, but she raised her hand slightly, warning him to stay back. He could feel heat radiating from her, warm and intense, like standing next to a furnace that was only now beginning to ignite. "You freed too much," she whispered without looking at him, her voice carrying a strange mix of fear and strength. Iran swallowed hard. "You needed power to fight." She shook her head slowly. "I needed control." But power came instead. The creature in the hallway let out a distorted growl, dragging itself to its feet with jerky movements. As if its bones didn't fully fit inside its body, its red eyes glowed brighter, and dark smoke hissed from its jaws as it charged again. Faster and angrier than before, the girl stepped forward without hesitation, her bare feet cracking the floor beneath her as her energy surged again. She met the creature mid-charge, their bodies colliding with a deafening blast that echoed down the entire corridor. The impact sent waves of dust falling from the ceiling, the lights overhead flickering like dying candles. Iran shielded his eyes as the blue flash from her body lit up the room, powerful enough to blind him for a moment, the creature skidded across the floor, smashing into a metal wall and leaving a dent wider than a doorway. But the girl did not move backward, not even an inch. She stood straight, breathing hard, the glowing lines along her arms, bright like liquid stars flowing under her skin. Iran saw pain flash across her face. Just for a moment, her power was strong. But the remaining chains still tightened when her energy spiked. Earning her, as she fought to stay in control, she pressed a hand against her chest. Wincing as the restraint over her heart pulsed with a cool orange glow. "That one hurts the most," she whispered. "It keeps my heart from rising." Aaron stepped closer again. But she kept her eyes on the creature, refusing to let it out of her sight. The beast snarled, pushing itself up again. But this time something else moved behind it, something large and heavy. Aaron leaned forward to see through the shifting dust, and his breath caught in his throat. Another creature, bigger than the first, crawled out of the shadows, its bones clicking as it unfolded its long limbs. Its face was the same skull-like shape, but its body was twice the size. Covered in black plates that clacked as it moved, red veins of light pulsed under its skin. Beating like a second heart, the girl tensed immediately, the air around her heating again as she sensed the new threat. "They sent 2 hunters," she whispered. "This means the commander wants us gone." Iran's voice shook. "Can you fight both?" She hesitated for the first time, her glowing eyes dimming slightly. "I can fight," she said quietly. "But I don't know if I can protect you at the same time." Before Iran could respond, the larger hunter roared and charged with terrifying speed, the floor cracking under its weight. The girl reacted instantly, grabbing Iran by the arm and shoving him behind a broken metal crate. "Stay down," she said, her voice sharper than ever. Iran ducked low as the creature slammed into the wall where he had stood seconds earlier, sending metal shards flying across the room. The girl ran forward with surprising grace, even in chains, her power surging like a tidal wave beneath her skin. She leaped into the air, twisting her body as she slammed her freed arm into the creature's head with stunning force. Blue shock waves burst out in all directions, shaking the walls as the beast stumbled backward with a pained howl. But the first hunter attacked at the same time, lunging toward her exposed back with claws raised high. Iran's heart froze. But the girl reacted with impossible speed. She dropped low, letting the creature's claws slash over her head, and swept her leg beneath it, sending it crashing to the floor. Her movements were faster than any soldier Iran had ever seen. But he could also see the pain twisting her face. Every attack made the chest chain burn brighter, punishing her each time she used her full power. "Your chains are killing you," Iran shouted over the noise, his voice shaking with worry. She didn't answer, too focused on the hunters circling around her. The larger beast roared and slammed its fist into the ground, cracking the floor in a wide circle, sending tremors through the room. The girl stumbled, her balance breaking for just a moment. The smaller hunter saw its chance and launched itself at her with terrifying speed. Jaws wide open, Iran didn't think, he just moved, sprinting forward as fast as he could. Grabbing the loose chain from the ground, he swung it with all his strength, hitting the creature's head just hard enough to knock it off course. The beast fell sideways with a furious howl. The girl spun around, shock filling her glowing eyes. "Why did you do that?" she cried, her voice shaking. "Because I'm not letting you fight alone," Iran answered, his chest burning from fear and adrenaline. For a moment, she looked like she didn't know how to respond. Then something changed in her expression, something soft, something almost human. Her power surged again, stronger than before, wrapping her in a faint blue glow that hummed like storm winds around her. "I will not let them touch you," she whispered, "not as a weapon, not as a beast, But as someone who had finally chosen her own path, the larger creature charged again, and the girl burst forward to meet it. This time, the shockwave shook the entire hallway, throwing sparks from the ceiling, shaking loose pipes, and sending both hunters stumbling backward. But the strain was too much. The chest chain flared bright orange, and she screamed, falling to her knees as the metal burned into her skin. Iran rushed to her, grabbing the chain desperately, trying to pry it open, ignoring the heat searing his fingers. "Stop," she gasped. "It will kill me if you open it the wrong way. But it's killing you now," Iran said, his voice cracking, her glowing eyes locked onto his, filled with fear and desperate hope. "If you remove this chain," she whispered, "I don't know what I will become." And before Iran could answer, both hunters roared together and charged at them with full force. The walls shook, the floor split, and the ceiling lights burst into sparks as the two monsters closed in. The girl lifted her head, glowing brighter than ever, her power rising like a storm about to break free. Her voice trembled as she spoke her final warning. "Iran, if I lose control, run." And the room erupted into chaos. The night moved slowly, heavy like a deep fog. The man lay on his narrow bed, staring at the ceiling, while the beast sat quietly near the door, watching the shadows crawl across the walls. Something about this night felt different. Even the silence felt alive, almost awake. The beast did not close her eyes. Her ears kept moving, reacting to every small sound the metal halls produced. Sometimes she would turn her head sharply, as if hearing something no human could. The man felt uneasy, but also strangely safe. As long as she was there, nothing had touched him. No guard had come. No threat had entered. He finally whispered, "Are you tired?" The beast shook her head slowly. "I do not sleep when danger is near." Her voice was low but calm. The man felt her words settle inside him like a weight. "Danger is near?" He suddenly sat up. "What danger?" he asked. The beast turned her eyes toward the door, not blinking. "Someone is watching. Someone does not want you alive." A cold shiver ran down his spine. He had felt it, two eyes following him, guards whispering, the strange way the leader had smiled when handing him the chained creature. The beast continued, "They think I will kill you. They wait for it. They want it. But I do not follow their wish." The man's throat went dry. "But why protect me?" For a moment, the beast did not answer. Her gaze softened, just a little. "Because you did not fear me. You spoke to me like I was a person." He didn't know what to say. No one had ever described him as brave. He wasn't even sure he had spoken bravely. He had just reacted in the moment. But the beast saw something different in that small moment, something the guards had never shown her. Suddenly, a loud metallic thud echoed from outside. The beast's entire body became alert. She moved silently to the center of the room, her muscles tight and ready. "Stay behind me," she said. The man froze. "Who is it?" But she didn't answer. She crouched low, listening. Another thud. Then a scraping sound, like claws dragging across steel. The man's heart raced. "Is it another creature?" The beast shook her head. "No, worse." The door lock clicked. The man jumped. The beast growled softly, a deep warning. The door slid open, and a tall figure stepped inside. He wore dark armor and carried a long weapon glowing with blue light. His eyes were hidden behind a metal visor. The man recognized him instantly. He was one of the elite guards, someone known for completing every task without hesitation, someone who followed orders without question. The guard pointed his glowing weapon at the man. "Move aside, beast. Your task is finished." The beast growled louder, but the guard didn't flinch. "He must die tonight," the guard said. Orders from above. The man's blood turned cold. The beast stepped in front of him, blocking the weapon with her body. The guard spoke again, his voice sharp. You were trained to destroy anything in your path. Do not break your purpose. But the beast didn't move. She said, He is under my protection. The guard tightened his grip on the weapon. You are a tool. Nothing more. Step aside. For a moment, everything went silent. Then the beast whispered almost to herself, No, not anymore. The guard lunged. Blue light flashed. The man fell backward, hitting the wall. Sparks exploded as the beast blocked the strike with her chained wrists. The sound of metal clashing filled the room. The beast pushed forward, snarling with raw force. The guard stumbled, shocked by her resistance. You dare, he started, but she didn't let him finish. She grabbed his arm and smashed it into the wall. The glowing weapon dropped to the floor with a loud crack. The guard screamed and tried to reach for a second weapon, but the beast knocked him down, pinning him with impossible strength. Her eyes burned with a fierce glow the man had never seen before. The guard gasped. You are not supposed to protect him. The beast leaned close and growled. I choose my own purpose now. Then she crushed his weapon in her hand like it was nothing. The guard crawled backward in fear. Run if you want, the beast said, voice low and deadly. Tell them I refused. Tell them I will not let them touch him. The guard scrambled out of the room, slamming the door behind him. The beast turned back to the man, breathing hard. They will send more, she said. Stronger ones. The man stood, legs shaking. Then what do we do? The beast stepped closer to him, her eyes steady but filled with urgency. We escape, she said. Tonight, before dawn. The man stared at her, stunned. Running from this place was impossible, or so everyone said. No one had ever managed it, but the beast looked certain. Determined. And for the first time, he felt a small flame of hope. Okay, he whispered. Let's escape. The beast nodded slowly. Soon, she said, your life will change forever. And outside the door, heavy footsteps began to gather. Many footsteps. The hunt had begun. The man stood frozen for a moment as the beast scanned the room, her breathing still sharp from the fight. Heavy footsteps outside grew louder, more organized, more dangerous. The guards were not coming one by one anymore. They were coming as a unit, a full squad. They will break the door soon, the beast said. We must move now. She grabbed the chains still wrapped around her wrists and yanked hard. The metal cracked a little, but not enough. The man stepped closer. Let me help. He didn't know what he could do, but he couldn't just stand there anymore. The beast looked at him and nodded once. Lift the chain. Pull with all your strength when I say. He grabbed the cold metal, his hands shaking. The beast lowered her head, muscles tightening. Now, he pulled back with everything he had. The beast jerked forward with force. Snap. The chain broke, sparks flying. For the first time since he met her, the beast's wrists were free. She stared at her hands, almost surprised, almost emotional. But there was no time. A loud boom came from the door. The man stepped back. They're breaking it. The beast grabbed his arm. Come. She moved with speed, so fast he could barely keep up. They pushed through a hidden maintenance hatch behind the room's storage wall, a small opening only a creature like her would have noticed. Dust and darkness swallowed them instantly. Where does this go? The man whispered. To the old tunnels, the beast said. Her voice was calm again, but something restless moved behind her eyes. The narrow passage was damp, cold, and heavy with the smell of old metal. Pipes ran above their heads. Lights flickered weakly. The man had heard rumors about these tunnels. Some prisoners believed strange things lived there, abandoned experiments, forgotten creatures. No one ever wanted to check, but now he had no choice. Behind them, the room door finally cracked open with a thunderous crash. Shouts echoed. They went this way. Block the north corridor. Bring the stun rifles. The man felt his chest tighten. They're close. But the beast placed a hand on his shoulder. They do not know these tunnels. I do. She moved confidently through the maze of paths, as if she had memorized every inch. The man hurried behind her, stumbling over uneven flooring. He noticed something strange. The tunnel walls had deep marked scratches, claw marks dense, as if huge creatures had once tried to escape or break free. His heart pounded harder. What happened here? He asked. The beast didn't slow. Many like me were made here. The man swallowed. Made? She nodded. Not born, created. A chill ran through him. Suddenly, the beast didn't look like a monster. They had made her that way. She was a result of their cruelty, not her choice. He felt anger burn inside him for the first time. How many? Like you? He asked quietly. Hundreds once, she said. Now, I do not know. Many were destroyed. Destroyed. Not killed, destroyed. The word felt too cold. Too planned. Another boom echoed behind them closer this time. They found the hatch, the beast said. Move faster. They reached a large chamber filled with old machines and heavy cables. A thick metal door stood at the far end, half open. A faint red alarm light blinked, reflected on the beast's eyes. The man hesitated. Where does this door lead? The beast looked at him. To the abandoned lower floors. No patrols go there. Too dangerous. The man didn't like the sound of that. Dangerous how? Before she could answer, a loud voice shouted from the tunnel behind them. There they are. Blue light blazed as guards fired stun rifles. The beast threw her arm around the man and rolled behind one of the old machines. Sparks flew everywhere. The sound of bullets striking metal filled the chamber. The guards were advancing quickly. We can't stay here. The man said. The beast nodded. We go through the door, now. They sprinted. The guards fired again. One shot grazed the man's arm. He cried out, but kept running. The beast grabbed the door and pulled with all her strength. The metal screeched. Open. Darkness poured out like smoke. The man looked back. For a split second dozens of guards were rushing in. Hurry, the beast urged. They slipped inside just as the guards reached the chamber. The beast slammed the heavy door shut and locked it. From the inside, total darkness swallowed them. The man tried to steady his breathing, but he could barely see his hands. I can't see anything, he whispered. It is better this way, the beast answered softly. Her voice echoed strangely in the dark. As if the room was huge. The man felt uneasy. What do you mean? Her next words came slower, softer. There are things in these floors that follow light. The man froze. What? Things? The beast turned slightly, her golden eyes glowing faintly in the dark, like two lanterns. Creatures older than me, she said. Stronger, forgotten, hungry. A cold wave of fear washed over him. The echoes around him suddenly felt alive. The air felt too still, somewhere, deep inside the darkness. Something shifted, something big, something breathing. The beast stepped closer to him and whispered, Stay close. Do not run. Whatever you hear, do not look back. The man's heart hammered in his chest. Why? What's behind us? The beast looked straight ahead. Her voice was almost a whisper. Because in this darkness, something is already following us. The man stood completely still in the darkness. His breath felt loud, too loud, like every inhale could attract whatever was hiding behind them. The beast kept one hand on his shoulder, steady and surprisingly gentle. Her glowing eyes were the only thing he could see. two faint golden lights guiding him like distant stars. Something moved again. Something slow, heavy, a dragging sound, like thick claws scraping across metal. The beast tightened her grip. "Stay quiet," she whispered. The man swallowed hard. His throat felt dry. "What is that?" he whispered back. The beast didn't answer immediately. She listened, head tilted slightly, every muscle alert. Then she said softly, "A thing that was never meant to live. A leftover from the experiments done before me." A chill ran through the man's spine. "Another creature like you?" "No," she replied. "Not like me. Much worse." The breathing in the dark grew louder, closer, a slow inhale, then a long, deep exhale that echoed through the entire chamber. The man felt the air shift, as if something huge had moved just a few feet behind them. His legs almost gave out. "We need light," he whispered shakily. The beast shook her head. "Light will make it run toward you." "Toward me?" he asked, terrified. "It hunts what it sees first," she said calmly. "If we stay in darkness, it may pass." But the man was trembling. The idea of something unseen, something monstrous, walking right past him made his heart feel like it would burst. The beast took his hand suddenly. "Follow me, slowly." They moved forward, her steps silent, controlled. The man tried to match her pace, but fear made his feet clumsy. The darkness felt endless, like they were walking inside a void. Behind them, the creature's breathing shifted. It had heard something. The beast stopped instantly. "Do not move," she whispered. The man froze. He could hear the creature turning toward them. Its claws scratched again. Then another sound, a wet, low rumble, almost like a growl, but deeper, too deep to belong to anything natural. The man squeezed the beast's hand hard. She didn't pull away. "It is smelling us," she murmured. The man held his breath. A long moment passed, then another, and then the creature exhaled directly behind them. The hot air brushed the man's back. He almost screamed. The beast quickly placed her free hand over his mouth, pulling him close before he made a sound. Her touch was firm but protective. The creature sniffed again, confused, searching. After several tense seconds, the sound of claws slowly moved away. The breathing shifted toward another part of the chamber. Finally, the noise faded enough for the beast to lower her hand. The man gasped quietly. I thought it would kill us." "It still might," she said. "We must move before it circles back." They walked again, faster now, but still silent. The chamber seemed to stretch forever until they finally felt a slight breeze. Cool air touched their skin. "There," the beast said. "A ventilation shaft. That means we are close to the lower facility exit." Hope flickered in the man's chest. "So we're almost safe?" But the beast didn't respond. She was staring into the darkness behind him. The man slowly turned. Two giant blue eyes were glowing back at them. The creature had circled around after all. Beast pushed the man behind her immediately. "Do not run," she warned. "Running will make it attack." He clung to her arm. "What do we do?" The creature made a low, rumbling sound, stepping closer. Its massive shape became clearer, a tall, wide body, long limbs, and a head that almost brushed the ceiling. Its breath smelled metallic and rotten. It was bigger than anything the man had imagined. The beast raised her arms slowly, showing she wasn't a threat. "I am like you," she said to the creature, "made from the same place. We do not need to fight." The creature stopped. Its chest rose and fell. For a moment, it seemed to consider her words. The man held his breath. But then the creature stepped forward again, faster this time. "Back!" The beast shouted, pushing the man sideways. The creature lunged, slamming its claws into the ground where they stood seconds before. The whole floor shook. Bits of metal and dust rained from the ceiling. "Go to the shaft." The beast yelled, "I'm not leaving you." The man shouted back, "Now." He ran toward the ventilation shaft, while the beast spun to face the creature. It roared, the sound shaking the walls. She dodged as its huge arms swung at her, claws slicing through pipes and sending sparks flying. The man tried to open the shaft grate. It was stuck. He pulled harder, desperate. Behind him, he heard the beast grunt in pain. He turned. The creature had pinned her against a wall, its claws digging into the metal around her head. She struggled, but its size was overwhelming. No. The man shouted. He grabbed a broken pipe from the floor and sprinted toward them. The creature didn't notice him until he slammed the pipe into its leg. It wasn't strong enough to injure, but it was enough to distract. The creature turned its giant head toward him. The beast took the chance. She delivered a powerful kick to its chest, sending it stumbling backward. "Run!" She screamed. This time he didn't argue. He raced back to the shaft, pulling the grate with everything he had. It finally snapped open. He crawled inside, then reached out a hand. "Come on." The beast ran toward him just as the creature roared and charged again. She leaped into the shaft, and the man slammed the grate shut behind her. The creature rammed into the wall with full force. The entire tunnel shook, but the shaft held. The beast looked at the man, breathing hard. "You should not have tried to help me," she said softly. He smiled weakly. "What else was I supposed to do? Leave you behind?" For the first time, something warm flickered in her eyes. But then her expression darkened again. "Do not relax yet," she said quietly. "We escaped that creature." Her eyes shifted down the long, narrow shaft. But what waits ahead is even worse. The ventilation shaft was narrow, dark, and smelled of rust. The man crawled slowly, dragging his exhausted arms across the metal floor. The beast followed behind him, her body low, eyes glowing faintly, scanning every shadow for danger. Each sound echoed in the confined space, every drip of water like a gunshot in the silence. "Are we safe now?" The man whispered, his voice trembling from exhaustion and fear. The beast shook her head slowly. "Not yet. The lower floors are not empty. Not by far." He swallowed hard, his hands gripping the metal edges. "Then, what waits for us?" She didn't answer immediately. Her glowing eyes reflected the dim red lights above. "Creatures, traps, and the ones who made me. They will not let us leave easily, but we have a chance. A small one." The man paused, his chest rising and falling rapidly. "Small? That's all we get?" The beast didn't smile, but there was a hint of determination in her eyes. "Small is enough. With me, you have a chance." The shaft opened into a vast underground chamber. The man looked around, shivering. Broken machinery, pipes leaking steam, and shadowy shapes moving in the distance made him step back. The beast growled softly. "We are not alone. Move carefully." From the shadows, dozens of creatures stirred. They had been hidden in the darkness, waiting. Some were small, scuttling quickly across the floor. Others were massive, hulking forms that bent the dim light with their size. They hissed and roared as the intruders stepped into the chamber. The man froze. "There are too many." The beast's glowing eyes narrowed. "Then we make them fewer." Before he could ask what she meant, she stepped forward, chains rattling softly. Energy pulsed along her arms, glowing brighter and brighter. Her aura stretched outward, like a storm growing in the dark. The creatures hesitated. Some backed away. Some lunged out. The first creature came at them, small but fast. The beast moved with impossible speed, blocking its strike and sending it flying into a pipe. Sparks exploded. Another tried to circle them, but she whipped her arm like a whip, knocking it into the wall. The man realized something. She was not just fighting. She was controlling the battlefield. Every move was precise, calculated. Every strike saved him. But there were too many. The larger forms were coming. He stumbled back as one hulking creature swung its massive claw. The beast leapt in front of him, blocking the attack, chains scraping the floor as they sparked from her energy. "You need to keep moving," she shouted. He ran, following her through the maze of broken machinery. But the creatures were faster than he imagined. Some leapt from above, some crawled from behind. The beast turned sharply, slamming her chains into the largest creature. It staggered, then roared, throwing debris into the air. Her energy flared. Sparks flew like fireflies around her, and the creatures hesitated for just a moment, enough for the man to catch his breath. "This way," the beast whispered urgently, leading him toward a stairwell that seemed to descend even deeper. They ran, hearing the sounds of pursuit echoing behind them. The creatures were relentless, but the beast never faltered. She guided him, blocked attacks, and sometimes used her chains to fling debris at enemies, slowing them down. Finally, they reached a large sealed door. Beyond it, the faint sound of air and distant alarms promised a connection to the outside. The beast approached the door, pressing her glowing hands against the control panel. Sparks shot out as the locks released with a hiss. The man pushed the door open and looked out. A ladder led upward, toward a vent opening high above the facility. "Up there," he said breathlessly. The beast nodded. "We climb, quickly." They began ascending, muscles screaming with exhaustion. The creatures' roars echoed below, following their every movement. The man glanced down. Many creatures had reached the bottom, pounding and growling, but the beast never hesitated. She moved with unmatched strength, pulling him up, keeping him safe. Finally, they reached the vent. The man climbed out first, taking a deep breath of fresh air for the first time in hours. Then the beast followed, emerging into the moonlit surface outside the station. They paused. Behind them, the underground facility trembled. The alarms below screamed. The creatures would never leave easily. But for now, they were free. The man collapsed to the ground, exhausted, shaking. "We made it," he whispered. The beast knelt beside him, her glowing eyes softening. "Not completely," she said quietly, "but close enough, for now." He looked at her, finally noticing her full presence. The chains were gone. Her aura still hummed faintly, a reminder of the power she carried. And yet she looked calm. "Why did you stay with me?" he asked, voice trembling. She lowered her head, almost shyly. "Because you did not fear me, because you trusted me. I was given to you in chains, but I chose to guard you instead." He felt a strange warmth in his chest. "And you will always guard me?" Her eyes glowed softly in the moonlight. "Always. No chains, no fear, only protection." For the first time, the man felt completely safe. Not because the danger was gone, but because the beast was by his side. Above them, the stars stretched endlessly. Behind them, the facility waited, full of horrors and monsters. But in this quiet moment, the man and the beast were together. And for the first time, the man understood something. Some bonds were stronger than chains, stronger than fear, stronger than anything the world could throw at them. The beast shifted slightly, settling beside him. Her glow softened, almost like a heartbeat in the night. The man leaned back, exhaustion overtaking him, and for the first time, he slept without fear. She remained awake, watching, guarding, loyal. The one who had once been a weapon now chose to protect. And in the silence of the night, with danger far behind them, a new beginning had begun.